as the extreme energies become ever more palpable, if one is still in the ego, you will notice that the ego is hardening and it's regressing to its most infantile state, where it is subject to temper tantrums, it's subject to meltdowns, it's subject to every form of psychological disorder, including breaking apart into a psychotic breakdown that is irretrievable. Because the vessels of the consciousness are in their weakest point today. And it is only through taking refuge with God that the strength to overcome those negative forces is given. The armies of the demons are growing larger and stronger every day. But the army of God is stagnant. The army of God is not yet moving its energies upward to shed the ego identity and its habit patterns of lower chakra acting out. And every day it loses more of the power to break free of the egoic identity and for the soul to fully activate itself and liberate itself through surrender to God. And people can see that the ego becomes more dysregulated and it goes through more volatility. So, for example, during a recent holiday, some people got very high on that day, but afterwards, a backlash may have brought some lower and into more darker and more demonic spaces than they were before. Because we cannot depend upon holidays or situations or nice weather or any other temporary phenomena to support our consciousness. We can depend only on the support of God. But to have the support of God, there must be no egocentricity left. We must become fully and completely theocentric. If God is not the center, the heart of your being, the giver of your love and your marching orders in life and determining your destiny, if it is not God who is in that place, that throne of consciousness, then it will be a much darker force that will take over your mind and create narratives that will bring one into ever lower, more dissipated, more anguished states and cause one to make decisions that will be extremely regrettable. So the consciousness must overcome its hardened tendencies through mahabhava, through devotion that is sincere, that is true, that is constant, that keeps the heart always open and always receiving the Shakti, the power that comes from the presence of the love of God. Without that love, the current of divine energy will not flow. To attract that energy, to strengthen you, there must be a giving of your love to the source of that energy. That is the covenant that we must make with God. We surrender and we receive the power that liberates us from the delusions of the ego and its suffering and its errors of judgment. And we receive instead wisdom, empowerment, love, purity, humility, goodness, and our lost divine nature fully returns. There's only a very short time to overcome the ego. And if one is not in that state of having overcome the ego, then you must understand that it means that the ego has overcome your soul and has stopped your upward journey to liberation and to that capacity to serve as an angel, which is the prerequisite to graduation from this realm of Maya. If we want to join the ranks of the angels or even to have their protection, we must have shed the demonic tendencies of the ego. And we must enter into that silent, spacious consciousness that is open to the highest levels of the ruling power of the universe to enter into our minds and hearts and bodies to bring forth a new world out of the ruins of this world that is dying. But if we do not go through ego death now, we will not be able to serve as heralds and messengers and co-creators of that new kingdom of heaven that is to come. We must not have any taint of the energy of Kali Yuga left in our psyches, not even a tiny stain of egocentric thought or emotion, if we are to be given the honor of serving God as beings of light, not of matter, beings who are eternal, immortal, and who radiate the splendor of God's infinite beauty. Or else we will be taken over by the ugliness of the egoic mind and brought into great hell realms of sorrow. There is a very important choice that must be made now, decisively, for one side or the other. You cannot be in both boats. They are becoming ever more separate. You must choose entirely the divine. or the other side, the dark side, will take you. May you understand that this is being told to you to protect you from those tendencies that you might naively or gullibly believe when the ego mind gives you thoughts that attack another or that create disharmony or that feel entitlements and specialness and superiority that should be recognized by all. Whenever demands are being made for recognition and for power, know that that is the ego's way of colluding with the dark forces that will break and destroy the soul's yearning for union with God.